Shalom, everyone. I guess so far it was all on mute, and I'm very sorry. Again, Shalom, this is Amir Tsarfati. These things happen, as you know, as we are. I'm all alone here in this place, trying to work on the information and also work around the technical things. These are breaking news about several things that happened first thing this morning and throughout the day. And I would like to draw your attention to several things that happened today. Okay, so the first thing, a Ukrainian drone was flying early this morning for the second time in 3 weeks, towards a military Air Force base called Engels 2. And this is northeastern of the Ukraine. This is deep into the Russian region. And what happened is that the explosion of the drone and of the intercepting missile caused damage to the tower, the control tower, and also to kill 3 Russian soldiers. Now, 3 weeks ago, same thing happened with a Russian drone that was actually used by the Ukrainians to fly towards Russia and hit the same base and severely damaged several heavy bombers that are nuclear-capable bombers on the ground. And therefore, the Russians learn and they move them from the tarmac. But now it's the control center that was hit, and 3 soldiers got killed. The last time, the revenge of the Russians came the day after with a barrage of nearly 90 cruise missiles that severely crippled the Ukrainian grid system. And I can only guess that it's not going to go unanswered this time, now that the Russians have also casualties. Another very troubling thing that happened early this morning, folks, is that 5 drones were launched from North Korea, and for the first time in 5 years violated the South Korean airspace. One of them was flying right above Seoul, the capital of South Korea. The South Koreans launched helicopters and planes, and they tried to shoot down these drones with over 100 different rockets and failed. Ladies and gentlemen, failed. They failed to shoot down those drones that came back to North Korea unharmed. It goes back to December 13th when satellite images showed an interesting looking UAV that looks like a Chinese-made one. It was parked in next to a hangar in Pyongyang area, and the intelligence community was wondering what is Kim Jong-un is going to do with a UAV. Well, today we got an answer. He learned from the best. He learns from what's going on in the war with Ukraine and Russia. He understands that the game changer is using drones that are much harder to shoot down, much harder to be intercepted or even detected by radars, as they fly very low and they're very small. And therefore, this was, I believe, testing the waters for Kim Jong-un, and I believe that in light of what he saw today, is greatly encouraged that he can easily do something in minimum cost and with maximum effect of fear and terror for the South Koreans. Now, you have to understand that over the last few weeks, there's exchange of military actions between the parties, and we know that the shooting of ballistic missiles on one side and military exercise on the other side. The U.S. for the first time sent B-52s and F-22s also to take part of the drill in South Korea. The North Koreans are very angry with what they see. Satellite images that were released by both sides were kind of competing who gets better footage. And so I think that this morning, Kim Jong-un decided, I will show the South Koreans that I can actually dominate their own skies and they won't be able to say a thing. And that is exactly what happened. By the way, the South Koreans lost the plane today in the attempt to shoot down those UAVs. It's a small attack plane, and it crashed, and the crew managed to evacuate themselves, but the plane, of course, was destroyed. So that happened just this morning, just so you know. Quite a lot of stuff happened today. I want to also direct your attention to Iran, but this time from different directions. I want to direct your attention to Iran when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine war. I want to direct your attention to Iran when it comes to the United States. I want to direct your attention to Iran when it comes to Israel and the new government that, good news, will be sworn in this Thursday in 2 days. And finally, we're going to have probably sanity within our own government, and also what is going on in Iran from the inside, because there's something very interesting that is happening right now as we speak. So first of all, allow me to say that a couple days ago, on December 20, in fact, yesterday, I believe, December 25th, an Iranian journalist called Reza Abbasi warned of Ukraine's, actually said that Ukraine will return to the pre-industrial era in the event of a Kiev attack on Iran. And why would Iran be afraid of an attack from the Ukraine? Well, according to him, the words of the advisor to the president of the Ukraine, Mikhail Podolyak, who called for a move to destruction of production and arrests of suppliers of weapons, of Iranian weapons to Russia, they were caused by what he said, American cocaine. The Iranians said that the Ukrainians are threatening Iran because they are under the influence of American cocaine. And then look what he said. By the way, whenever an Iranian journalist writes stuff like that, it's normally because he's connected to the regime, and he's the trumpet of the regime. And he says the slightest action that threatens the security of the Iranian people will return Kiev to the pre-industrial era. This is not a threat, this is a warning, Abbasi wrote. And on the eve of December 24th, Podolyak said that Iran's weapons enterprises must be destroyed. And in his opinion, Tehran's cooperation with Moscow humiliates Western sanctions institutions. I'll take you back to December 22nd, where Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Nasser Kanani urged Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky not to test Iran's patience with unfounded accusations of arms supplies to Moscow. And by the way, this is a bunch of baloney, because everyone knows that the Russians are using Iranian drones. Iranian drones were shut down by the Ukraine, and we saw their serial number, date of production, and where they were assembled, all in Iran. Now, it's interesting because on December 12th, the Iranian Defense Ministry reported that the Ukrainian side did not provide evidence of the use of Iranian drones by the Russian Federation during a special operation to protect the Donbass. See, the Iranians are calling it also a special operation to protect Donbass. And I take you all the way back to December 6th, where France, Britain, and Germany appealed to the UN Secretary General to send experts to Ukraine to investigate possible violation of Resolution 2231, which prohibits Tehran from exporting certain types of products without prior approval from the UN Security Council. So what I'm trying to say is that Iran is, of course, bluffing the whole world. They are in violation of so many sanctions of the UN, of the US, and everybody is just giving them a free pass, and they're doing it. And that brings me now to the words of the head of the Israeli Mossad, of Dedi Barnea, actually. And he said in a meeting about a few days ago in the Israeli president's residence, where they gave awards to some excellent agents of the Mossad, The president of Israel actually praised the Mossad and the chief of Mossad, Dedi Barnea. But Barnea, at the same ceremony, said the following thing. He said, in recent months, we detect very dangerous process or developments. Some of them are threatening. Some of them are just in defiance from the side of Iran. Iran is increasing its attempts to actually perform terror actions all around the world. And these we are actually thwarting almost every day, he said. So the fact that we don't hear about it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. There are multiple Iranian terror cells around the world that are aiming at two things. Anyone that is against the regime and Israeli and Jewish targets. Number three, we are telling the world that Iran is about to increase or enlarge or expand its uranium enrichment project, which, by the way, in other words, he basically says it's no longer 15%, 20%, 40%, or 60%. It's 90%. And we are also warning of the Iranian intentions to actually hurt friendly Muslim countries in our region in different ways. Now, I have to make it very clear. I've written a couple novels about the Mossad, and I know this organization very well. In fact, we're in the process of writing more, but I want to tell you something. The Mossad is an intelligence organization. You know, it's very limited in its resources when it comes to coming against a nuclear program of a country that is now backed by another one, and I'm talking about Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, as much as I like the Israeli secret services, and as much as I think that they're of the best in the world, and their heroic operations such as recovering the archive, the nuclear archive from Tehran, and such as the elimination of Fakhrizadeh, the father of the nuclear program. As much as all of these are true, the Mossad is not a military force. It's not an army. It's not a military, and it cannot destroy simultaneously hundreds of targets. Some of them are deep under the ground, hundreds of feet, in tunnels that are almost cities under the ground. For that, there's a need for much more than just one intelligence organization. It takes actually even more than one country. It takes a coalition of countries that simultaneously must crush the nuclear program of Iran and attack simultaneously hundreds of targets from the air and on the ground in order to bring an end to this program. If that's not going to happen in the coming months, Iran will no longer be a what I call threshold country. Now, we believe that Iran can put a bomb together already with what they have. We actually know that they can do that. That the problem that Iran has right now is two problems, actually. They need to take that decision to assemble the bomb, but they also need at least a couple of years to learn how to mount those things on rockets and on bombs. And these are things that Russia can help them a lot with. And this is exactly what America is now very concerned with. America is seeing the growing collaboration between Iran and Russia. Russia needs Iranian weapons and drones. Iran needs Russian technology and Russian knowledge. And that's an unholy matrimony that we're watching right now. Israel is limited with what it can say or demand from Russia at this point. And so America is the one that is standing and demanding this Russian Iranian thing to stop. But, you know, there's a very weak administration in America right now. There was a very weak administration in Israel until the day after tomorrow. And so, it is evident, it is obvious, and in every interview that Netanyahu has been giving in the last few weeks, the first thing he said, we must stop Iran's nuclear program. He says, before anything else, this has to stop. And so it's not a secret that Israel is already exercising, but again, it's not going to be enough. I can tell you up front, it's not going to be enough. It has to be a joint effort of more than one country, to surprise the Iranians, and from within and from outside, on the ground and from the air, and of course, bring an end to that program. And so again, that is the Israeli-Iranian thing. And again, as much as I can praise the different operations of the Mossad, it's not going to be enough for one intelligence organization to fight the nuclear. This is not Iraq of 91. This is not, we're talking about hundreds of sites. Some of them are deep under the ground. And even the JDAMs that America holds right now cannot really destroy those targets. And so, again, this is what we have right now. Now, let me give you another update that is very, very interesting. All around Israel, economies are collapsing and currencies are plunging. I'll give you an example, okay? In Iran, although the official exchange rate is 40,000 reals for US dollar, it's actually more than 420,000 reals for $1 US. And what happened now is this: all the Iranians, part of the protest that is already more than 100 days into, part of the protest is that the Iranians right now are going to withdraw all their cash from the banks, which causes their economy to plunge, causes the central bank to be destabilized, and that causes their currency to lose value every day more and more. That is becoming a bigger threat to the Iranian regime right now than actually the riots in the streets of Iran. Very, very interesting what's going on right now. It's called a financial uprising, a financial revolt. But that's not the only one. Folks, I just got a report 5 minutes ago. In Iraq, the dinar is now 150,000 dinars for $1 US. That's, it's hard to imagine how much the value of the currencies of Arab countries around us is low. Turkey, if in 2010 it was, I think it was 1.4 Turkish lira for $1 US, now it's 18.6 Turkish liras for $1. We're talking about almost 15 times more. Lebanon, 46,000, over 46,000 Lebanese lira for $1 US. And again, ignore the official exchange rate. I'm talking about the real rate where people exchange with money changers. Nobody cares about the official rate that the banks are posting. We're talking about real life. If that's not enough, Syria, if before 2011, you would pay 50 Syrian liras for $1. Now it's 6,560. In Egypt, of the official number right now, it's 24.7, but in reality, it's almost double liras for $1 US. Folks, this is a disaster all around us. All around us. These countries the economies are just plunging and falling, and you have to understand, we're entering into 2023, where we're going to see a lot of civil unrest and chaos as a result of these exact things. And again, these are things that are happening all around us. So I talked about a Ukrainian attack on a Russian airbase that will probably cause a major strike of cruise missiles tomorrow or even tonight on Ukraine. We're talking about five North Korean drones that entered the airspace of South Korea for the first time in 5 years. South Korea's airspace was violated, and for the longest time, over 100 attempts to shoot them down failed, and they are all returned back to North Korea. We're talking about Israeli military a concern of the situation with the Iranian nuclear program, that, no more Mossad operations can ever stop it, where it's a point where they already started the 90% enrichment, and they have enough. They have enough for a bomb. They have enough for 5 bombs. They just don't have yet the technology to put that and mount it in a way on a rocket or a bomb that will be able to get to another place, which for that, Russia will gladly assist them. In fact, the concern is that Russia will assist them even of firing that. I mean, they don't even have to learn any more things. They can just be assisted by Russian experts that will gladly be sent to Iran, as the Iranians were sent to Crimea to build production lines for Iranian UAVs over there. Folks, I've learned 2 things in the last 2 years. Don't talk about COVID, and don't talk about the Ukrainian war. Why? Why? Because everyone is already deeply grounded with his opinion based on YouTubes that he's been watching, and that's it. What if I told you, based on sources that I know, that as we speak, 248 million Chinese contracted coronavirus since October. And since they abandoned the zero COVID policy, which, by the way, listen to me all the way, because the zero COVID policy of China was the worst thing, because it did not expose the people, and therefore everybody's contracting it right now. If they had been exposed, things would have been as in Europe or in America or even in the Middle East or the rest of the world. But while China was locking up its own people in buildings and in villages and in towns, none of them built immune system for this virus. And therefore now, the minute they pivoted out of this zero COVID policy, all the dams fell. And currently, the Chinese government stopped reporting numbers, because everybody is laughing at them, because every time they report numbers, everybody knows they're too low. That's not true. Now, the reason why I'm telling you that is because if your package is not coming from China, or your product is not being manufactured right now, it's because, you're talking about almost 20% of the Chinese are not going to work right now because of the virus. Now, I'm not saying the virus is killing all of them and all of that. I'm just saying they have the virus and they're home. They cannot even go to work. Shopping malls are empty. Factory lines are empty. And so that will affect world economy in the near future, in coming weeks. So I'm just telling you that because there is a reason for that. Now, I'm not even talking about the virus itself, whether it's real or not, whether it's man-made or not. This is not what I'm telling you right now. I'm just telling you that numbers that were leaked in the last 24 hours are showing 248 million people who contracted the virus in the last 20 days. That's unbelievable. And regarding the Ukraine, I'm trying to tell you something, but I hope you will understand. There's so much that we don't know that it's very important not to take stands only based on some show on Fox News or some YouTube that somebody did. Trust me, there are things that are much older, go way back than just this war. For example, everybody is talking right now about the fact that Zelensky is prohibiting Christians from going to churches. This is it. Now, I'm not a fan of Zelensky, not whatsoever. But I will tell you that the story is not exactly this. The story is actually going all the way back to 2019. And if you don't understand that, then you're being misled. It goes to 2019, where already then the Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine was blamed in 2019. I'm not talking about the war began in February 2022. 3 years or 2.5 years before, the Ukrainians already suspected that Russia is using priests as spies. There's priests in Ukraine as spies, and churches as a mean to indoctrinate Ukrainians against Ukraine and to side with Russia. Now, whether it's true or not, it's not the point. The point is that the Ukrainians decided to create their own Orthodox church. It's not that they're against the church, they are against the Russian-based church. And so the Ukrainians created the Ukrainian Orthodox Church that has its own bishop. And believe it or not, they went to the highest authority of the Orthodox Church, which is the bishop of, or patriarch of, Constantinople, which is Istanbul of today, and he gave them on Christmas Eve of the Orthodox Church on January 6, 2019, he granted them what we called autocephaly, which is the status of a hierarchical Christian church whose head bishop does not report to any higher ranking bishop. And so the Patriarch of Constantinople basically said, in Ukraine, there's one Orthodox church, and that's the Ukrainian church. That's it. So this is something that goes beyond the war. It goes before the war. And if I may say, it affected the Russians because the Russians kind of lost, control over buildings, territories, people, and worshipers. And that was one of the reasons that Vladimir Putin was pushing for an invasion into Russia, because he saw that not only he's losing, as far as he's concerned, the control over Ukrainian political and financial, but also the spiritual and or / religious part is being taken from his hands after 300 years of Russian dominance of the Ukrainian church. So you understand, it's not exactly that Zelensky says Christians cannot go to church. No. What he says is we need to forbid any churches in Ukraine that are actually headquartered in the Russian Federation, because this is not exactly a spiritual thing. It's more of an espionage thing. Now, again, whether it's true or not, it's not the issue. The issue is there is a church in Ukraine, and there is a both Orthodox church in Ukraine, there are evangelical churches in Ukraine, which we are in touch with, and they don't report any persecution. In fact, if anything, the first time the Orthodox Church in Ukraine allows Christians to celebrate Christmas even on December 25th and not only on January 7th. I don't take sides here. I'm just telling you that what you hear and what is on the ground, oftentimes it's two different things. And taking one side or just believing something just because Fox News says or Tucker Carlson says or Donald Trump Jr. tweeted, or I don't know, someone said that, it's not always the real thing. You have to dig deeper and find what is really the reason for these things. Now, do I agree with banning or blocking access of those who worship in the Russian Orthodox Church? No, I don't. But it's not that the government is against Christians. No, the government is against a specific branch within the Orthodox Church whom they suspect is not really about Christianity, but about espionage. It's like almost every Arab country in my region forbids the Muslim Brotherhood. Why? They realize that the Muslim Brotherhood, although it's a Muslim organization, it's actually inciting against governments. It's harboring terrorists in their mosques, so they were outlawed. Now, do you suspect the Saudi king that he's anti-Islam? No. Do you suspect the Egyptian president that he's anti-Islam? No. These are Muslims, but they're against the Muslim Brotherhood, as they suspect that it is a terrorist organization that is hiding under a religious, roof or some sort of or outfit. So what I'm trying to say is this. Whether Zelensky loves Christians, that's not the issue. The issue is in Ukraine right now, the Russian Orthodox Church is being kind of outlawed for other reasons than Christianity. It has nothing to do with Christianity. It has to do with what it is being blamed for, and has been blamed for years earlier, which is the reason why in 2019 there was the separation already, and already then the religious hierarchy, or the religious, I would say, superior body, which is the Constantinople bishop, he actually granted the Ukrainian church to be the only, it's every country has one church. That is what the Constantinople, the Constantinople, I wouldn't call him father, but patriarch actually said. Okay, so believe it or not, in 2019, and even now, Russia has a problem with the patriarch in Constantinople, not only with Zelensky and his prime minister. So again, what I'm trying to say is not everything that is being tweeted is accurate. Not everything that is being reported is the full story. You have to go back and dig back to understand that it's far older and far more than just worship. It's in fact, in this case, it has nothing to do with worship. It has to do with everything else but worship. Okay, so we have to remember those things. Okay, folks, I just want to, again, thank you all. Today, I need to leave soon because it's the 25th birthday of my firstborn, Ariel, and I'm very excited for him. Also, my daughter in a couple of days will fly to South America to serve in a ministry there for a couple months. And I am on my way next week to Asia. Please pray for me. I need quite a lot of prayers because of the challenging nature of this tour in Singapore, Vietnam, Philippines, and California. Folks, thank you. Without your support, I could not do all of these things, travel to countries and be able to minister to small and large churches all around the world. I also want to tell you that if you really want to support this work, subscribe to Telegram and stay in touch with us because I'm going to be more and more restricted and banned and shadow banned on Facebook and YouTube. And I see that, we feel that, we know. I ask other ministries, it's the same thing. The only platform that is allowing me to tell you everything, by the way, whatever I said now, I wrote on Telegram with videos, with photos, with much more details. So go to Telegram and let me show you how you can actually do it.
Join the Amir Sarfati and Behold Israel channel on Telegram. Here you will receive daily updates and audio messages from Amir. You can also take part in our community and reply with comments. Getting started is easy. Simply download Telegram from the App Store, then visit the Behold Israel Telegram channel in your browser. From there, click Preview Channel, then click Join. That's it. See you on Telegram.
All right. Well, thank you. Let me finish with the Aaronic blessing above you all. And again, thank you for your prayers, for your support at the end of this year. It means a lot to me and to my family and to our team. So Let's pray. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance towards you and give you his peace that surpasses all understanding, that can come from the Prince of Peace, who is the Lord of Peace, Sar Shalom, who can give you peace now and forever, here and everywhere. His name is Yeshua, and in his name we pray. Amen. Thank you. God bless you. Please click the share. Share it with one friend, one family member. Let the word go out. Thank you. I love you. God bless you. And shalom. Bye-bye.